Good morning, everybody, and a happy Tuesday morning to you. As usual, we have a lot to cover. Oh my goodness. It's just the plethora of information. It just never ends. Let's just jump in and cover what we have, shall we? Let's go. I'm going to start off with something put up by the Royal News Network on Twitter because apparently the Montecito Journal has put something in about the fact that Harry said that his daughter's hair was so long she was almost sitting on it. Now I have to tell you, most 3-year-old girls that I'm aware of don't have hair long enough to sit on, much less go to their lower backs. The hair just doesn't grow that fast. But I think the comment that was put in the local newspaper, I agree, it was snarky. All right. Now, one other thing that somebody pointed out to me, remember when Harper's Bazaar did their 50th hottest men of all time and Harry came in at 25 above David Beckham? Well, you guys reminded me that Harper's Bazaar actually went to Columbia with Harry and Meghan, and now it shouldn't be called Harper's Bazaar. It should be called the Harkles Bazaar. Absolutely. All right, let's move on to our first story. We're starting off with this story with the fact that nobody has seen Harry and Meghan together in more than a month. I might also add, nobody's seen Harry. Remember, Harry left his family, flew to New York, went to a bunch of events where, quite frankly, I was very unimpressed. Then he flew to the UK to help with the Well Child Awards that he never says anything about during the year. It's basically just a photo op. Then he flew off to Africa, where he did his stuff for Centabale, and then he went off to Cape Town to take a little time off, and nobody has seen or heard from him since. Now, of course, people are saying it's because of their brand. It's got something to do with their brand. It has nothing to do with their personal life. I beg to differ, okay? Remember, it was Harry and Meghan, salt and pepper. We moved together. Every time they were together, they were literally pawing each other. Give me your hand, Harry. I mean, we all heard it. We all saw it. It was always the two of them against the rest of the world, the two of them against the family. But come to find out, they're pretty toxic together. And while people are saying that the Sussexes are stronger than ever, and Meghan finds these rumors draining, I beg to differ. As I've said before, all these stories now are bashing Meghan and saying nice things about Harry. So I really feel like this is a PR exercise to try to rehab Harry's image. They're trying to it's almost like they want Harry to go back to the royal family, and first they have to rehab his image. Meghan keeps showing up at events by herself, and that's not working for her because without Harry, she's nothing. And she knows it. I completely agree with this article. I think Meghan convinced Harry that they would be Hollywood royalty, like real royalty you know what I'm saying? Like people would be fawning all over them and give them the biggest deals, and the life would just be peaches and cream, and they just would go. But what they didn't expect was the backlash they were going to get for trashing the royal family. Now, I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. If they had gone to the United States, if they had kept their mouths shut, if they had said nothing against the royal family, they literally would be two of the most famous people on the planet. Tina Brown said it, Harry was very impressed by Meghan, thought that she knew all the ins and outs of Hollywood, thought she knew what she was doing. Harry literally thought that Meghan was a big-time Hollywood wheeler-dealer who could make them big stars. So here's what I think is going on right now. I think professionally, she's constantly trying to upstage him, and he is trying to upstage her. So it's just going from bad to worse. Now, another person who agreed with me was Kinsey Schofield. She said something very close to that on one of her interviews. But like I said before, when they were hired by Spotify, it was supposed to be both of them. And instead, they ended up with just Meghan. And then you saw that again in the Netflix series. It was supposed to be, both of them. And instead, it ended up being all about Meghan and Meghan's effect of this and Meghan's effect of that. And, Harry wants to focus on philanthropy. Meghan wants to focus on being a star. It's just not working out well for the two of them. Harry is really trying to remind us who he was before Megxit, before all the drama, and he's trying to leave Meghan out of almost everything because You don't want the king of hysteria that happens whenever they're together. Harry wants people to look at him and go, oh, look, this was me before. I was a good guy and I was really good with children and, my life was great and people loved me and you can still love me. Listen, I've told you before, I think he wants to go back to the family, but the family will never take him back while he is still with Meghan Markle. No way. I don't think the public would allow it. Listen, this article came out and I 100% agree. Meghan Markle has a very long history of getting what she wants from people and then getting rid of them. What's to keep her from doing the exact same thing to Harry? We all know about Jessica Mulroney, but what about Sophie Trudeau, who's distanced herself? There's even rumors that she's having issues with Serena Williams. This article points out that people act usually in a certain character and they're usually on form. We know she dumped her father, she's dumped her siblings, she's dumped both sides of the family, black and white. She dumped her first husband, she dumped her Canadian chef lover, she dumped Jessica Mulroney, she dumped the entire, British royal family. Yes, I think Harry will be next on the chopping block. And as things have gone on, she's also taken over his Invictus Games. We know now that Germany has distanced themselves because Meghan and Harry were using like 20-something% for their own personal usage. It's being suggested that Meghan in the future might portray Harry in a negative light to position herself as a victim. Oh my God, she's already done that so many times. I don't think anybody would listen to her because Harry's solo initiatives are doing really well. And so we don't know when she might make that particular call. You don't know when that might happen. But if they continue to do article after article, putting her in the wrong and him in the right, then she might try to spin the narrative saying she's the wronged woman and he's just behaving like all the others. Because let's be honest, she never admits if she's done anything wrong. You got to feel sorry for Harry. He's in a very difficult place, albeit he put himself in that place. He's completely responsible for where he is right now. The biggest problem everybody is saying that Meghan Markle has is that she constantly asks people for their advice, but then she doesn't take it. The biggest problem is that Harry has turned himself into a victim. It's just shocking. He's constantly whining and complaining on the Oprah show, the Netflix docuseries, The Spare. It's like, get over yourself. All right, and finally, I want to talk about this. Do you guys remember that Meghan, after she graduated or while she was in college, she went to do an internship as a junior press officer at the American Embassy in Buenos Aires, Argentina. She got there because she had her father ask his brother, her Uncle Mike, to pull some strings because she was late in applying. So even though she had good grades, with Uncle Mike's influence, she got the job. Apparently, she was only there for 5 to 6 weeks. She took a 3-hour exam at that point. That is a Foreign Service Officer test, and she failed the exam. So after she failed the test, she flew to Madrid. She took a 6-week course in Spanish at the International Education for Student program. Then, of course, she returned to Northwestern University, and she, apparently, according to the article, she bragged to everybody about, tapas and tangos, and she didn't bother to tell anybody that she failed the Foreign Service Officer test. Just as an FYI, her Uncle Mike was not invited to the royal wedding, and he said, and I quote, "She climbed socially and left us behind. That's how I feel." He said, "I did more for her than most. I personally talked to the ambassador in Argentina for her. I helped her out, and I didn't ask for anything in return. It could be that she's bossy towards staff because she's been spoilt by my brother." And by the way, when he passed away, it was when Harry had gone to the Diana statue unveiling, and he said he had to fly right home afterwards because her uncle had died and she was devastated. But her uncle's widow, her aunt, confirmed that she never heard from Meghan. She didn't even get a condolence card from her. Everything she ever got in her life, she got because of her father. Because let's not forget that after that went sideways, it was her father that got her the one-day role on U.S. soap opera General Hospital, where she had that small little speaking role. Without that, she wouldn't have gotten into Hollywood either. I mean, she literally Oh, it's just terrible. The way she left her family behind, what the article says, and I agree, is that's what happens when you're underclass and you try to rise above the reality of your situation. All right, you guys, you know what to do. Hit the like and the subscribe button and the bell for all notifications, although you probably won't get them. Then go down into the description box after you've left your comment and you'll find the link to video number 2. You're going to want to follow me over. Let's go.